we go then. The big one for my leave. Bit of a training run, stroke test run. 25k. From the top of the Eastern Valley, pretty much to the bottom. So the route I'm looking at, I've just been dropped off at Fox Hunter's Grave car park, up near to Keeper's Pond where we were the other day. Across the road, heading down the eastern side of the valley, pretty much on the top of the ridge. We'll skirt around the top of Blaen across to Mynydd Y Garn Fawr, skirt around the edge of the Folly, onto the Grotto, at which stage I'm then going to drop down into Pontypool Park, which is a little bit of tarmac then to Pontymoyle. That's pretty much the halfway along the route. That's about 13 kilometers in. I'll pick up some extra water at the garage there. From there, go across the road section up to Cummin Sky, back off road then up through Penareel onto Mynydd Main, across the top of Mynydd Henllys where I ran on my birthday, and then down through Henllys village again to home. 25 kilometers door to door. Not sure on the outcome. Distance not a problem. How much of it I'll end up running could be an issue, because I wanted to treat this as sort of race conditions, if you call it a race, ultra race, half ultra race conditions. I'm carrying all my fueling for the day. I've got 2 litres of water on me currently, some of it with electrolytes, some without, in line with my fueling. So let's see how we get on. Will it be a success or will it end up a failure? I'm not sure, but as a test case, that's what it's all about, test cases at the end of the day. So enough said. I'm a few hundred meters in, just getting the legs warmed up, loosen up a bit, and then we'll start running. I expect to get to well, maybe not quite the Folly before I might need to walk, but let's see. I'm aiming for 60-70% running, 30-40% walking. Let's do this. Okay, that's the first 5k done in about 43 minutes. So the pace is about 7 minutes 40 a kilometre. Happy with that. I'm sure it'll drop off as the day wears on. Nearly time for the first fueling stop. Well, not stop, on the run. So let's push on another 15 minutes. Then it's jelly baby time. Okay, just over an hour in, so I should in theory be doing my first fueling now over the next 30 minutes, and I want to stick to the plan really, but it's a downhill section. I'm coming to an uphill section, so I'm going to get to this uphill section and then, which is now, do the fueling. Right, time for some food. Refuel done, some banana, a couple of jelly babies. I think I overestimated on the jelly babies, but no surprise there. Still got to take this half a litre of water and electrolyte Trailwind between now and sort of 10:30-ish, and then onwards. I can actually see a first trig point coming up. When I get there, I should be able to see the Folly Tower, because we're about 8 kilometres in now. So onwards to the trig point. Trig point. I think this is Mynydd Y Garn Fawr. Absolutely stunning views. We've got Blaen Bran Reservoir down there. Folly Tower just out on the end there. Come around here to the valley, Abersucken, Carmarthen and all in this area. Coity Mountain over the other side. Back up towards Blaenabon. I don't know if you can make out the radio mast right up on the hill. That's where we started. Starting to look a bit questionable. I don't know if it's rain or whether I'm just in the clouds. But anyway, let's push on because we're going out there next. Out to the Coity Tower and then across to the Grotto. Not sure of the distance at present. But anyway, it'll be about 10k when I get to the Folly Tower. Let's push on. And there's the Folly. It's a nice little uphill section there before I came around the corner, which was nice on the hamstrings, having done so much downhill and flat from, well, pretty much from when I started. A couple of short uphill bits, but nice to get something different. Although my knees don't like the downhill bits, and now we got another downhill bit. So let's take a bit of a detour from my original route up on the top. Seems to be more and more cows grazing on common land these days, and the odd bull, of course. And when there's calves around, I'm always a little bit calves around. I'm always a little bit wary. Give them a nice wide berth, even if it takes me off my supposed track. I can see some more cows down here now, but I think they're actually in a field. Oh yeah, they're in a fenced field, so that'll be okay. Anyway, onto the Folly. Beautiful views, as always in this part of the world. Let's go around the other side. And down for the reservoir down there, and down to Cwmbran and our destination. Right, let's push on to the Grotto. Final waypoint on this side of the valley, the Grotto. I'll drop down here to Pontypool Park now, and then we've got over there, up there. That's the other side of the valley. You can still see Cwmbran down there now. So I think I overestimated my fueling. Way too heavy on the gummy bears. Anyway, let's get down here to Pontypool Park and take it from there. Feeling good so far. I think I'm actually ahead of my original schedule as well. I'm on a 12.1 kilometers and now we're on 49. So I was working on 2.5 hours to the halfway point, which is only, well, less than a kilometer away actually. So we're well ahead. Pleased with that. Not feeling too bad either. Feeling pretty good actually, which is surprising. Right, over halfway, done the road section. We're now climbing back up from Cwmni Sky. Timed it for my second fuel stop, but I've now got to go up this, so this is definitely going to be walked. I knew this was coming. Probably the hardest climb of the route, to be honest. Anyway, we'll have a Nature Valley bar, a few more gummy bears, start on the second 500 ml of water, and then push on across Mynydd Main. Let's do this. That's the end of the big climb, the tarmac. This at one time was a green lane. When I was into off-roading, it was either Elliot or George, I can't remember which. I brought them down here in a vehicle when they were 3 weeks old. Anyway, that's in my past, long time ago. This takes us up now to Penareel, and then we're back on top of the mountains again. I've walked from the garage because I knew it was all uphill. I was also 30 minutes ahead of schedule. Although it's not about the time. I am curious of what I can do this in, but it's certainly more about whether I can run it or not, or trail run it I should say, because I'm certainly not running it all. So let's get to the top and we'll get back on with it. Bit of a psychological barrier at the moment. Since the halfway point at 13 kilometres, it's been all road and all uphill until maybe 30 seconds ago. So I've had like 3 kilometres of straight up hills, all tarmac, and it's like, yeah, don't like tarmac. Well, we're back on the rough stuff now, so hopefully, I know it's still got a lot of uphill to go, but hopefully the tarmac mentality is gone and I'm back on the trails. So let's see. Still keeping a good time though. Hello. I should keep saying I'm not interested in the time really. It's more a case of doing the trails and can I do the distance. I haven't done 25k since February, and then that was on the streets round where I live in Abu Dhabi, so it was all tarmac. So this is much better. This is definitely my first decent tester. Right, I'm nearly at the car park of Mynydd Main. I know then I've got 8 kilometres to home on routes I ran the other day. So let's get on with this. Right, poles back out. Coming up the other side of Blaen Bran Reservoir now. That's the last of the big hills. God. Gently undulating all the way back to Henllys now. Park run to go, just about 5k, just over 5k. So put this camera down and get on with it. The last kilometre and a half is on road as well. Can't be helped because it's back to the front door. Right then, look at that view. Oh, hang on, that's a electricity pylon. That's not a nice view at all. That's just progress. There we go. View of the hometown, Cumbran. Excellent. Right, let's get on with this. So then, up the mountain, Henllys Lane, down round through the village, and back to the house. Nearly there. What are we doing distance-wise? .57 kilometres so far. I don't think it's going to quite be 25 kilometres actually. Might be about 24. That's good enough in my book. I have taken a couple of detours to be fair. that's it then. Well, that was interesting. So what have I learned from today? Well, I underestimated myself for a start, because I've just done 25k. Actually, it's not 25, it's 24.43. I'm blaming the cows for that, because I had to divert around them on the mountain. So I've done not quite 25k. 25k wouldn't have been a problem. Underestimated myself. Obviously, these long, short runs, paced runs, make a huge difference on your training. And then I've just gone out now and done 25k pretty much. So that's one thing I've learned. Pacing, which I've learned in the last 6 weeks, has helped hugely. Fueling, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, because that's gone completely pear-shaped. Pacing, definitely. The slow, easy runs, definitely. All there to build endurance, and they've made a huge difference. Fueling. So I based my fueling on what I was reading online, and I had 6 fueling bags for the day. Now, admittedly, it was supposed to be fueled every hour, so we could take 2 away, because I didn't actually take 6 hours to do the route. So if we took those away, I've still got all of this left. One thing I've learned: Nature Valley bars, absolutely crap. They do not work for me at all. I struggle to eat it. It's half a bar there and I'm struggling to eat it. Banana I had out the first one, definitely worked. So banana, and I did have 16 jelly bears. I've only eaten 8, so I overestimated on the jelly bears for energy. Didn't need them. Second fueling stop, third fueling stop. You know what? They're untouched. The one had this Nature Valley bar in it, but I didn't bother with any of those, and it's only half a Nature Valley bar. So my fueling was, I don't know if it's completely pear-shaped, or everyone's different with fueling. Obviously I picked my ideas up offline, but the trouble is with what I picked up online, I don't have a full stomach. I've only got my stomach has been cut away a few years ago. And I personally don't think fluids are king. On a normal day, I drink 2.5, 3 litres of water every day, with half a litre of protein water put in it. And when I'm out doing this sort of thing, I swear by electrolytes. So today I've actually gone through, over this 25k, I've gone through 2 litres. I had half a litre before I left with an electrolyte with the trail winds in it, an electrolyte carbohydrate type thing. I then had, within the first hour, I had first hour and a half, I had another half litre with another trail wind in. And since then, all I've drunk is water, and I've gone through those 3 plus 1 extra, and now I'm drinking another 500 litres. So that's 2 litres, and I'm now drinking my making up 2.5 litres with another trail wind. And I've seemed to have been fine on it. I don't know whether I could have had any more gummy bears or jelly babies. I had 8 at the start, and I just didn't feel I needed it. So my fueling obviously needs completely reassessing for the next time. Gear wise, Speedgoat 6s, love them, absolutely love them. Although mine are now worn out, and I think I've probably got just over 400 kilometers on them now. But I've been using them for training on the roads as well, which I shouldn't have been doing, to be honest. And I think that's what's worn them out. I invested in a pair of Clifton 10s last week for road training, and I will replace these later in the year when the Fatty 5s come out. But as far as off-road is concerned with these, they're absolutely amazing. I love them, and they're a wide foot, which I need. Compression socks, I wasn't sure about these when I started using them, but even training around the roads, I noticed I used to get a lot of cramps in my calves. I've noticed that they make a huge difference to me, so I swear by those these days. When I looked at the weather this morning, I didn't think I'd need a sun hat. Within 10 minutes of being out, Salomon sun hat. Definitely an essential bit of kit, will always be in my bag now. Dry bags for the telephone, dry bags in there for my first aid kit, foil blanket, waterproof trousers, waterproof jacket, and a warmer jacket, although it's all still in there untouched. It was all in there still. Shocks Pro Runner 2. Absolutely love these. I initially got them purely because of the roads in Abu Dhabi. You can't hear the traffic coming with normal in the year ones. You can hear them with these, but these are great. So again, I think using music when you're running is a personal preference, I think. I like it. Again, it keeps me going.
I've got a playlist that sort of works at around my zone 2. It's so many beats per minute in line with zone 2, and I've had that on all day, and it just keeps you going in the background. It's just psychological, I think. A lot of this seems to be psychological. Heart rate monitor, yeah, okay, that's just for accuracy. I'm using the Rab Veil 12 litre trail vest. Absolutely love the fit, love the brand actually, because I've actually got the Rab Veil 20 litre XP rucksack as well, and I've got the 1 litre waist bag just for doing park runs and things. Absolutely great bit of kit. The only thing I was worried about is how to put my poles on there. Now they say you can use these bottom ones, but I didn't like that because it was right across my spine. So I've lashed them down on here, and to be honest, they haven't moved. I've had to struggle to pull them out when I've been wearing it, but I did manage it. But to put them back, I would probably have to take it off to put them back if I wanted to put them back in. Garmin InReach, purely safety reasons, because I'm out by myself. We've got nothing organised there, just purely me out by myself. So let's just ping the wife one now and again. Although, to be honest, where I ran today, my phone was in service all the time, but when you go up into the Brecon Beacons, it's not. So that's what that was for. Shades, not these ones, these ones. So wraparound shades, I definitely swear by. Now bear in mind, I live in the Middle East, so I'm used to the sun on a daily basis. These are Oakley, these are my daily sunglasses. These are also Oakley. Fantastic make, and being wraparound. The only issue I had, not today so much, but I find in the humidity a bit, even in this country, is they do steam up a lot, which when you sweat, which I don't know, maybe that's just a thing of Oakley, maybe it's just me. There we go. So anyway, so that was that. So that's what I've learned. Something else I learned, which is, again, it's psychological, is the watch. When I normally train in, obviously it's not a navigated route, so you just got the watch up on the screen with your total time, your distance, and your pace. It's psychological. You keep looking at it all the time, and I'm sure it affects you, because when I do this like this today, or I go walking, I have it on the navigation screen showing the route. I did the first 3.5k without even thinking about it today. Before I realised it, I was 3.5k in, and it's like, oh right, okay, 30 minutes, 3.5k, job done. Admittedly, the trail was gnarly, so I was concentrating on the trail, but not continually looking at your watch for the time and distance is a real psychological thing. It's massively, it's so much easier. Before I knew it, I was 10k in, and it's like, wow, that's so I'm not sure I'm gonna have to look how not to put that screen on my watch when I train, because it's certainly a psychological thing. That was the one psychological, and the other psychological one was, I read somewhere that when you get to the pain barrier, which I did twice, when you get to the pain barrier, it's 40% physical, 40% psychological, and 60% physical, or 30 to 40 and 60 to 70%. In other words, your body's not going to give up. Your body is well capable of it. It's just your mind. Oh, I got those figures the wrong way around. It's just your mind telling you can't do it. Yes, so 30 to 40% your mind telling you can't do it, but your body's still got that 60 to 70% capability of going to do it. I hit that twice today. I got the halfway mark, no problems at all. Then I know I had a long climb back from there up to the mountain again. It was 2.8 kilometers and virtually all tarmac, and by the time I got to the top, I was, psychologically it was, because I don't like roads. I don't like running on roads. I like to run in the countryside. Once I was back off there and back on the mountain again, that psychological bit went away. I had to force myself to keep turning over in my head. Was it pain is temporary, regret is forever? So it's definitely a psychological. My body was very capable of it. And then again, I got to the 20k, and I was finding myself looking for excuses to walk, not run. And it was like, oh, this is a hill here, I'll walk it. It's like, hang on, this isn't a hill, this is just a little uphill gradient. Run. And so I could force myself to run again, and I was capable of running still. So again, it was a psychological thing. It was nothing more than my brain telling me, oh, you need to stop, but my body knew it could do it. So it's a couple of takeaways there. Psychologically, definitely. I've definitely learned a couple of psychological things. Now, I know it's only 25k, sorry, but I'm sure I can relate them to longer distances in the future. So that's pretty much it. So one final thing, I know it's not about time, Okay, I know doing ultras and all is not about time, it's about being out there, enjoying it and doing the distance, getting the endurance. But I did have a time in mind for this when I set out this morning. I know what I could walk it in, so I sort of brought that down a bit with an average speed, and I had a time in mind for doing this. Okay, I actually had in mind 5 hours for being able to do this 25k, because I know I can walk it in a bit more than that. Anyway, I'm going to put on the screen now what I did it in. I'm really pleased with this time. This is what I did it in. Anyway, that's enough. Catch you soon.